Well, and I think it's interesting, they tried to pass I don't know if it was just a Texas thing or if it was a national thing where you couldn't make recommendations for alternative health stuff. They were trying to shut down the naturopaths and the chiropractors and all that stuff, to the point where it's like, so if I tell you to go home and eat a bowl of chicken soup, I'm prescribing something and I could go to jail. I thought it was just ridiculous because every day we have the opportunity to help and support each other, whether it's just smiling at somebody, that even just that one little teeny act, you go into 7-Eleven or whatever and you smile at the clerk and make eye contact. I think they're shocked sometimes.
Yeah. What I love to do is walk in and always say, "How may I help you?" And that confuses everybody. But you see, the ones who are also kids some of them said to me, "Pay my college tuition," but then it's like two kids. I can't help but give you examples of my craziness. You see, I parked a car in New York the other day, and when the fella came over, to give me the, little ticket and so forth, I said, "Look, I'd like to go home with the Mercedes." And he looks at me and he says, "What color do you prefer?" And I busted out laughing and gave him a big hug. And the two of us were like two kids who were instant friends, both of us laughing, being silly. And that type of thing is what we need to do with each other. I walk into places where it says nobody's allowed here. And when the guards yell at me, I say, "I'm a nobody." and most of them, most of them let you go because they realize, oh, that guy's retarded. You don't have to worry about him. But one guard came over to me, and I got scared because he's like 6'4" or something, and he put his finger on my chest, and I thought, uh-oh, I'm in big trouble. And no, I wasn't, because he said, "I'm making you somebody. You have to leave now." Well, I hugged him because, you see, he's a kid too. He knew how to handle me. And out I go. But it's, again, those are the things that make my day worthwhile. Those crazy moments when you're out in the world and not afraid. That's why I always say it's this kid in me, my multiple personality. These are spontaneous acts. I don't plan them or even think about them. It just happens. And I end up getting a kick out of it, too, and laughing and smiling, and so do the people. And it's just this child. But if you don't grow up with love and self-worth, your multiple personalities are all afraid of relationships and being hurt and being criticized and what will everybody feel and think about me. But, the way I grew up, it was okay. Don't worry about what everybody thinks. Go ahead and enjoy yourself. And that kind of feeling that comes from parents, teachers, clergy, all the authorities in your life. There's one wonderful little poem entitled "Purple," in which a woman said she drew a picture while in first grade. It's a true story. And the teacher comes over and starts screaming at her, "You drew a purple tent. Purple's the color for people who died. We're not hanging your picture on the wall, blah, blah, blah." Second grade, she said, Mr. Barta said, "Everybody draw a picture." I left my paper blank. He came over to my desk, put his hand on my shoulder, and said, "The snowfall, how clean and white and beautiful." What a transformation, you see, for her. And she has never forgotten that and turned it into a beautiful poem that I put in my book on parenting called Love, Magic, and Mud Pies. But again, I saw how important it was. And, and why do I write books like Exercises for the Soul and Prescriptions? I'm trying to reparent people. I'm trying to get you to think differently about all the things that are going on in your life. And, and not just think, not just prescribe, but to give you things to do so you can make those shifts and begin to change. And the only way you're going to do it is if the person gets over the guilt, shame, and blame and says, "Let me give it a try. Let's see. And let me be your coach." See, coaches criticize their players, but they're constructively criticizing, giving them what you might call feedback. So if you're not performing well, they tell you how to do it better. Yeah. But, they're criticizing you. but you know that there's a point to it. And so, again, look for coaches. Look for people to help you straighten your attitude out and get on the right path and begin to live your authentic life, not the one imposed
You know, and I
on
think
you.
I think that word, you know, being authentic, just being who you are and doing what you do, you know, regardless, you know, standing in Starbucks and they got the music playing and, you know, standing in line, dancing to some, you know, rock and roll song. I do that because it's what I do,
Right.
you know, just silly stuff. You know, I like to skip.
Yeah, and you liberate
but I
others
do.
by doing it.
And people are like, well, why would you do that? Or how could you do that? It's like, I just do, you know, because it's just who I am. And, you know, it's like I don't need to have those limitations and those boundaries around me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
they're not serving any purpose.
Right.
And I think it's very freeing for people once they sit there and go, well, you know, one of the things I tell my clients is, you know, like, everybody's screwed up. And so if you think you're more screwed up than everybody else, you're wrong, because everybody's screwed up and everybody thinks that everybody else is not screwed up, and that's a lie. So you should just realize that everybody's screwed up, and so
Right.
just
you
be
know,
screwed
I
up
use
like
the term
everybody else.
Everybody's wounded. So, you know, whether you say everybody's screwed up or wounded or whatever, yeah, we all are. And if you're willing to use the wound, see, forgot the author, he said, the world breaks everyone, and some of us become strong at the broken places. And Hemingway. And I think that, see, what I try to get across to people is don't wait to get broken to become strong, you know, and figure out what life is about. Learn from the mistakes of others and the wisdom of others. So, yeah, if I learned something, okay, I'll write a book, say, here, read it, you know, and it's modern, if you know what I mean. It's not picking up the Bible or Buddha and saying, what were they trying to tell us? So it's the same messages, though. This is something I always say to people. Look for common themes. See? If you find it in the Bible, if you find it at an addiction meeting, if Bernie Siegel said it, it must be working because they're all telling you the same thing. See?
Or it must be true.
Yeah, and so when people call me or email me and say, I went out and spoke last night and people said I talk like you and sound like you, I said, good. You know, you've learned what I've learned, so we sound alike. You know, it's not anybody stealing material. It's the experience that they've had, and that's what you should look for.
We have 2 minutes left. I'm like sitting here going, God, I wish I had you for both hours. But we have 2 minutes left. So is there
my
any
last line always is, you know, when people tell me we're going to run out of time, is that we all need to accept that. We're all going to run out of time, so enjoy your lifetime. Touche.
Your new book, 101 Exercises for the Soul, Simple Practices for a Healthy Body, Mind, and Spirit. Right. I'm assuming major bookstores, Amazon,
all the stores,
et cetera,
and Amazon,
et cetera.
Yeah, should be easily accessible.
Do you do a lot of speaking as well?
I do. I'm traveling less. I get invited all around the world, which is nice to see that the message is being accepted now. But, yeah, I'm a pretty busy guy. I still run support groups and, you know, and with the Internet, I mean, I'm, you know, helping people literally all over the planet get through difficult times. So
if people wanted to get some more information, they can just go to BernieSiegelMD.com.
Yeah, SIEGEL, BernieSiegelMD.com. Yeah, because the contact comes to me directly. There's nobody between me and the people, you know, I try to help.
Oh, well, then I'll put you on my joke list. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, if you make me smile, it's okay.
Well, I tend to do that, or I like to do that.
Yeah, on our website, you know, with cancer patients, we spend a lot of time sharing humor. And, you know, you begin to realize, yeah, people want to feel good.